People complain about everything today. You might complain because your food delivery is running late, or because your flight got delayed, or because someone you know at work doesn't do any work and still gets paid. But here's a question. What did humans complain about 50,000 years ago? At first, the answer seems obvious. Nothing. Life was too difficult. When every day is a struggle to find food, avoid injury, and survive the winter, who has time to complain? But the evidence suggests something surprising. Ancient humans may not have complained less than we do, and understanding why reveals something fascinating about human nature. Imagine waking up 50,000 years ago. No electricity, no supermarkets, no hospitals, no government, just a small group of perhaps 30 to 50 people. And every single day, your survival depends on them. Today, most of us depend on systems. Ancient humans depended on individuals. The people around you mattered more than almost anything else. And that's why many of their greatest frustrations weren't caused by nature. They were caused by other humans. Imagine 10 hunters leaving camp. They spend all day tracking animals. They're exhausted. Then they return. And one guy who mysteriously disappeared all day suddenly appears when food arrives. You can probably guess what happens next. Anthropologists studying hunter-gatherer groups consistently find strong social pressure against freeloading. Among the Hadza of Tanzania and other hunter-gatherer societies, people often use teasing, jokes, criticism, and gossip to discourage laziness. Not because they were mean, but because cooperation was survival. A lazy hunter didn't just annoy people, he made everyone else's life harder. Which means one of the oldest complaints in human history may have been, "Why am I doing all the work?" And if you've ever carried a group project or covered for a coworker who wasn't pulling their weight, you already know exactly how that feels. But laziness wasn't the biggest issue. Fairness was. Imagine a successful hunt. The tribe gathers and food is distributed. Then one person takes far more than everyone else. Today, that might start an argument. Back then, it could threaten the entire group. Anthropologists have found that hunter-gatherers are often obsessed with equality. Many groups actively discourage people from acting superior. Some even make fun of successful hunters who brag too much. One hunter-gatherer tradition is so famous that anthropologists gave it a name: insulting the meat. When a hunter brings back a large animal, people deliberately downplay the achievement. They might say, "That's all you caught?" Even when the animal is enormous. The goal isn't to insult the hunter, it's to prevent arrogance. Because once people start believing they're more important than everyone else, cooperation begins to break down. And cooperation was everything. Now, here's where things get interesting. Most people think complaining is negative, but for most of human history, it may have been one of the most useful things humans ever did. Imagine someone constantly takes more food than they should. Nobody says anything, and the behavior continues. People become resentful, and the group becomes unstable. Now imagine everyone openly complains. The problem gets addressed immediately. In other words, complaints act like an alarm system. They're a way for humans to signal that something isn't working, and that ability has helped humans become the most cooperative species on Earth. Of course, not all complaints involved people. Some involved nature. Imagine 3 weeks of bad weather. Hunting becomes difficult. Food becomes scarce. Today, bad weather might ruin a weekend. For ancient humans, it could threaten survival. And unlike us, they couldn't check a weather app. Storms appeared without warning. Droughts arrived unexpectedly. Entire food supplies could disappear. Imagine trying to plan your life when the sky itself feels unpredictable. You'd probably complain too. Now let's talk about gossip, because humans are surprisingly good at it. Researchers have found that a huge amount of conversation involves discussing other people. At first, that sounds trivial, but gossip serves an important purpose. It warns people about troublemakers, it rewards good behavior, and it punishes selfish behavior. For thousands of years, the answer could determine whether someone became part of the group or was avoided. In many ways, gossip was an early reputation system. If people thought you were trustworthy and hardworking, others wanted to cooperate with you. If they thought you were selfish, everyone knew. Ancient gossip wasn't just entertainment, it was social survival. As societies grew larger, complaints changed. Small tribes became villages. Villages became cities. Cities became nations. Suddenly, people weren't just dealing with neighbors. They were dealing with taxes, kings, laws, bureaucracies, and governments. The targets changed, but the emotions stayed similar. Humans still complained about unfairness. A hunter complaining about a lazy tribe member and an office worker complaining about a coworker are separated by thousands of years, but psychologically, they're doing the same thing. Here's one final twist. As far as we know, humans are the only species that complains about fairness. Think about a wolf pack or a group of chimpanzees. They compete and fight, but they don't sit around discussing whether everyone contributed equally. Humans do, and scientists think that may be one of the reasons we became so successful. Unlike most animals, humans survive through cooperation on a massive scale. We share food, we teach each other skills, we help raise children, we work together with people we're not even related to. But cooperation creates a problem. How do you stop selfish people from taking advantage of everyone else? One answer is punishment. Another answer is reputation. And another answer may be something surprisingly simple: complaining. When humans complain about unfair behavior, they're often sending a message to the group. They're saying, "Pay attention. Something isn't right." In that sense, complaining may be one of the oldest tools humans ever developed for protection. And maybe that's why humans have been complaining for so long. For tens of thousands of years, our survival depended on noticing problems before they became disasters. A lazy hunter, an unfair share of food, someone who couldn't be trusted. The people who paid attention to those problems may have helped their groups survive. Today, we're no longer arguing over mammoths around a campfire. We're arguing about meetings, traffic, slow internet, and group projects. The details changed, but the instinct didn't. So what did ancient humans complain about? They complained about lazy people, unfair people, and people who took more than they gave. In other words, pretty much the same things we complain about today. Because underneath all our technology, cities, and modern conveniences, there's still a very ancient human brain trying to make sure everyone pulls their weight. After 50,000 years of progress, humans may have changed, but when something feels unfair, we still react exactly the way our ancestors did. So the next time you complain about a lazy coworker, bad weather, or someone taking more than their share, congratulations. You're carrying on a tradition older than civilization itself. Human life has changed dramatically in 50,000 years, but apparently, finding something to complain about has always been part of being human. And maybe that's one of the reasons humans survived in the first place. If you enjoyed this journey into human history and psychology, subscribe for more videos exploring why humans became the way we are today.